Welcome to today's video. A mistake that we often tend to make when we're practicing self-inquiry is we start to externalize the source that we're seeking. We start to practice self-inquiry from the perspective of the body, perspective of the person that I take myself to be, and I am seeking some reality on the other side of this experience or somewhere deep within me. Through what I share with you in today's video, I want to help you clearly see that you, that which is aware of your experience here and now, is the source that you seek. You are source. So that's coming up right away. Before that, I just want to make an announcement that I have created a brand new YouTube channel. It's called Ask Sunny. It's where I post multiple 5 to 15 minute videos answering your questions about this practice, this teaching. I will link that channel down below. Please go check it out and subscribe over there for more videos from me. But other than that, let's get into the contents of this video. There's a teaching in the Advaita texts that says Brahmin alone is real. It's referring to that absolute reality. And it's the second statement made is the world is unreal. And the third statement is made, the Brahmin is the world. So again, Brahmin alone is real. The world is unreal. Brahmin is the world. We have to contemplate this. How could it be so? So you see, where previously we were externalizing this absolute reality as something on the other side of all of this stuff, or somewhere outside over there, and that this is unreal. Now we are told that that absolute reality that is being referred to is all of this, yet beyond. So, of course, theoretically, it can be very abstract and hard to decipher, which is why thought can't help us here. That's what the teaching has laid out. The teaching has laid out a path for us to discover that for ourselves. All the great teachers and texts of the past have laid out different ways and means of going about it. The path is there for us to follow, to start to understand this. Thought cannot help us because thought can only grasp conceptual things inside of the realm of experience. But it is blind to a greater reality. So okay, how do we go about this? And what are we about to do today in our little experiment and our guidance? So if what all of this that is here is Brahman, is that ultimate reality, from physical forms to mental forms, right? World, body, mind, and even this presence which illuminates. So all of this together is that self in appearance. What we can say, so in the path that has been laid out for us, it asks us, it shares with us that this splash of presence, which is at the heart of every experience, that which you feel as self, that which you feel as I, or being aware, is the purest form of self inside of this illusory appearance. All the great religions and texts and teachings, they tell you to seek within. They tell you to turn within. What are they referring to this within? What is this within? You see, the more we externalize the self, we go off into forms and appearances, all of this. When we turn within, we are going away from form into our very being. You're not going inside of the body. There's nothing inside of the body other than just more form. You're going within. You're turning your gaze away from form to the formless, or away from form into the source of from where form arises, which itself is formless.
So the teaching, especially the one of the direct path that we cover here, it shares with us that this sense of I amness, of beingness, of presence, of being awake, alive, aware, which here and now, right, it doesn't really have a form because it's not anything you can point to. Yet it is always here, no matter how much the world changes, no matter how much the experience of the body changes, no matter how much the experience of the mind changes. It is illuminated by a knowing, a presence, a selfness. You say I, you constantly refer to yourself as I. So this teaching shares us that that absolute reality, which is seemingly over there, actually it is here and now. It is the self in all beings. We all here, like separately from different parts of the world, we're watching this and we have different desires and fears and themes and personal life and appearance and cultures and religions and whatnot. Yet the self in you is the self in me. The the absolute reality reflects in all beings as the feeling of self, as the sense of being. So to discover that universal reality, we have to turn our gaze away from form, away from all of our differences, into that which is common, into that which is void of differences, which is the only thing in your direct experience is what you here and now know as your very own presence, your very own sense of identity, I. The obstacle to this is the constant psychological chatter, which is keeping us focused in form, which keeps us tied, glued to the illusory world and lenses of perception. And that's all what the practice really is. We are learning to, rather than habitually just being glued to and immersed in illusion, we are retracting our attention, our life force, our devotion inward, away from form into the source of form. Here and now, when you are here about to meditate, you have this sense of presence, of beingness, of being aware here. But even later, when you go to your job or you have work or you're having dinner with your family or whatever, even if when you're in the hectic marketplace, even that experience is illuminated by this presence. It's not that complicated. We just have to start becoming aware of it because so right now, this presence is neglected or taken to be other things that it's not. We have to start to really become aware of this presence of being aware of the sense of I am, isolating it from all the forms it's associated with. So that's exactly what I invite you to do right now. Turn your gaze, your attention to the very awareness which you feel here and now. It is your inner gaze, your inner looking. Become aware of your very own awareness. If someone was showing us a way to reality or God or life or source, we wouldn't let any obstacle get in the way. We have to treat it with that sort of intensity. Here and now, the teaching has laid out the path. It is sharing with us the closest you can get to God or self or reality inside of this transient experience. You have to follow your sense of self. You have to follow your very own awareness. Don't fall victim to mere thoughts of how and am I doing this right and all that. Be free of, like, again, your thoughts cannot help you here. So you have to venture off into the knowing, which is subtler than your thinking. We are referring to the noticing, I am aware. Even without mentally saying, I am aware, there's awareness. Notice the awareness that is present, even when thought is not. Even maybe the thoughts that are arising that you may claim that are distracting you, even these thoughts are arising in your knowing, the knowing that is prior to and subtler than the thoughts that are arising. Acknowledge that knowing, notice that knowing, become aware of that awareness. Forget thoughts. Being aware of being aware is the same as being the awareness that is aware. You are not a person being aware of awareness. You are the awareness being aware. And the person and the personal life are an object of your seeing. Notice that you are the awareness that is aware. That is what it means to be present. We always say, be present. What does it mean? Who is present? What is present here? It is that absolute reality that I am. It is here as presence. It is here as self. I am. I am present. Not you, person, are present. This has nothing to do with the person you think yourself to be. The person we take ourselves to be is phenomenal appearance. It is just the object of our seeing. It is not the person that is present here. I am present to the person. I am present. Therefore, the person may appear. Thinking enslaves you in person consciousness. Turning your gaze away from thoughts, bringing them into the source from where they arise, which is this knowing, liberates you from person consciousness and helps you understand what is beyond. It helps you recognize what you are beyond person. But you are not recognizing that as a person. Personal identity has to be let go of, discarded. When you become aware here and now of being aware, it has nothing to do with person. You are being aware as the awareness, which is formless and nameless. Recognize that. Notice how quickly we fall into thinking about personal life, being concerned about what is to come and what was. That is the obstacle. Our interest and devotion to concepts about me as a person. In moments of meditation, you as a person do not matter. You have to empty yourself of even the notion of being an individual person. What is scared of this statement? It's only the person. You are already prior to that. The person is only a mental self image made of thoughts, of which there is a knowing. You know. Acknowledge that knowing. Take the leap of courage from thought to the knowing that is prior to thought. Notice from where you see thoughts. The I that sees thoughts is not personal. to recognize our self as one with that greater reality that we seek, we have to purify our understanding of what I am. But this isn't a physical or a mental process. It requires a submerging yourself, submitting yourself into this ocean of awareness, into this ocean of being, into this sense of being, the sense of identity. You have to start to notice that when you bring your attention here, when you are present as that, when you are aware of being aware, all your ideas, all your notions, your whole idea of being a so and so dissolves. In awareness, there is no individuality. Which is why it's pure. No amount of thoughts that you have during this practice are an obstacle, because the knowing that you are, the awareness that you are, is why you know thoughts. The arising of thoughts automatically means simultaneously that there's a knowing of them. That's why you can say, oh, I'm thinking, or there's thinking here, is because automatically with the arising of thoughts also is the knowing in which they arise. We are too interested in what the thoughts say, so we get carried away. That is where we have to make the shift. You have to start becoming interested in the fact of this knowing that is prior to thought. The awareness, which is just aware with or without thought being there. Know that that is you returning home. No matter how much thoughts feel like you, feel like you're doing, this awareness that is prior to them, subtler than them, is even more you. Thoughts even are at a distance from you because you know thoughts. But the awareness as which you are shining, the awareness that knows, you, the awareness that knows, is at no distance. You do not know it as an object. You are that. As I said earlier, to be aware of awareness is the same as being the awareness which is aware. That is perhaps the main thing I want you to contemplate from today's guidance, because it is one of the prominent shifts in your paradigm that self-inquiry unlocks for you. That is you going from person consciousness to recognizing yourself as the impersonal awareness which knows this experience. As I said when I began this guidance today, that it is subtle while at the same time extremely practical. Practical because there's nothing more obvious here than the awareness of experience. To even say, I am confused about this, first, there must be an awareness of experience. So we have to really start to notice that. So to be aware of awareness, when you quote unquote do that practice, you are being the awareness which is. You are being that self, which is nameless, formless, storyless, impersonal. That is the doorway to wisdom. From that silent being, all the limited filters of your mind, your outwardness, your identity with person, right? Your identification with mind starts to fall away. Trust this more. If this resonates with you, trust this more than any other practice, any other thing. But it does require your devotion, because the habitual tendency to constantly think keeps us glued in personal identity. The only obstacle to this practice is the interest that we have in the content of our thinking. We have to replace that devotion to thinking with devotion to self-awareness, to the awareness in which thinking comes and goes, by which thinking is seen to arise and subside. You are that knowing. Not you, the person, are that knowing. You, awareness, being, nameless, are that which knows. That is what I want you to sit with. It is not a one-time thing. You have to continue to return to that acknowledgement, that noticing, that awareness. And in it, all your ideas, your false notions, belief systems, and even the suffering that is born because of those limited ways of seeing yourself are dissolved. This is the self-purification, the true self-purification. Recognizing your oneness of identity with the source of your being.
So to deepen your understanding of this practice, these principles, check out my free self-inquiry mini course. I'm linking it down below. It's actually linked to my free support group. You just have to join the group and you get access to all 3 of my free mini courses. Check that out below. I'll see you in our community where you can also submit questions for me to answer. Other than that, if you are looking for more private help from me, for more structured practice in these principles, in these teachings, learn more about our School of Awakening, which is a wonderful day-by-day program that really guides you into the experience of these teachings. I hope that this video helped you. All the stuff is linked down below. That's all from me for today. I will see you next time.